Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. Everybody's working for the weekend. Taking care of business every day. Now it's wow, 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 wow. Welcome to the working week.
Working 9 to 5. What a way to make a living.
Minimum wage.
Okay, we're here
I think
for
you were
another.
live with that. Stop fading. But
All right, well we're
Start
ready to
fading.
go. Here we go. So another monthly edition of the Working Lunch, the show that delves into issues related to workforce development, job training, and the local economy here in Worcester. As always, I'm Jeff Turgeon with the Central Mass Workforce Investment Board, and I have with me, as usual, our co-host extraordinaire.
keep it going. Keep it coming.
Sean McGauley. Sean, how are we doing?
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for taking your lunch break with us. We appreciate that. Hope you have something good for lunch today.
Hey, did you guys know that this program is Nielsen rated #1 by the people in our office for this time slot?
For this
Wow.
time, well,
There's a lot to compete with, too.
that's true. There's a lot of entertainment and information options out there. So to be tuning into the Working Lunch, I'd like to think it's an investment in their future. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
It's not just listening. It's an investment.
I've heard people say that the month doesn't begin until they hear our show.
Oh, that's interesting. So when does it end? It ends like the day before our show.
1 o'clock.
Yeah. So we do have a lot to chat about as usual, and a lot going on this time of year. Fall is traditionally a lot going on. A lot of town fairs. A lot happening out in the community. I know you're such a big a fan of the town fair.
Gotta love the town fair.
What's your favorite one?
Douglas Oktoberfest, I think, would be my favorite, which I think we've talked about. There's no traditional Oktoberfest with beer. And
So it's like Oktoberfest without anything that is traditional to an Oktoberfest.
Well, it's Oktoberfest spelt with a C instead of a K, your traditional K for the German.
So we're celebrating the month of October.
It's just a festival, and they need a name for it, an Oktoberfest. It just seems to be...
It seems to have a ring to it. Well,
Well,
that's.
I mean,
I guess what I'm getting at is that's a very uncommon approach, if you will, to the Oktoberfest. And we also had another uncommon event happen recently.
Great segue.
One of the best segues of radio history.
Yeah,
we had
the Uncommon Job Fair.
That's right. We had a job fair, and instead of doing the traditional job fair is done, kind of in a room, and you've got employers behind a table. You've got job seekers walking up to the table. They maybe interact a bit. They get a chance to chat, but a very formal,
exactly.
very formal state affair, if you will. And so, one of our business service reps at the local Workforce Central Career Center had attended an event out in, I think, Holyoke.
Yep.
Which was kind of a different. It's kind of more of a
New take on it.
Yeah, it's kind of like an outdoor fair, kind of mixed with a job fair. Or festival mixed with a job fair, so kind of brought back that concept, and together with a lot of local partners, helped pull off a really neat event here in Worcester, right there on the Worcester Common. It was a job fair, but the format was very much more casual, festival-like. We had some music, we had food.
We had Jeff behind the grill cooking up hot dogs.
I don't want to brag, but those are some pretty good dogs.
I didn't hear any complaints about the hot dogs.
Oh, that's good.
And they went quick. We had over 800 hot dogs.
Well, I don't think it was that many. About 700 hot dogs. I don't want to overstate the hot dog count. I don't want, in case there's someone out there that's keeping track. I don't want to. But we did have over 800 attendees.
Yep.
And they were interacting with more than 40 business representatives, and the interaction itself was a bit less formal. A round table structure out there on Worcester Common, a chance to kind of more or less, in some ways, kind of network more than just that kind of interchange of information or whatnot. So
yeah, and I think it's also important to note the relationship between the private sector in our organization. I mean, we had businesses donating buns. We had donations from Frito-Lay of chips. We had water, everything. So it's just nice to see them giving back and getting involved. Really
right.
standing behind this kind of event.
We did, any type of event like this, major event, you do have a lot of, people kind of involved, both on the planning end and also the implementation. I mean, I can't thank enough the folks at the Department of Public Works for Worcester. They have a crew down at City Hall, Ralph Menendez and Scott Babbage. Also the city DPW electrician helped us out. That's Steve Duffy helped pipe music through, so there's a nice festival feel to it. There's some music in the background. Again, I mentioned the food, and we also had help from Mike Powell over at the City Hall, who kind of manages. He's part of the city's asset management department, and so he helped us, get some tables and bring them out for us and set those up with chairs and whatnot. So a whole lot of folks pitching in. We also had some not only the staff at Workforce Central come out to help out with the event, but also staff from the career centers. There's 30 career centers statewide. 3 here in Central Mass. So not only did the staff from Central Mass come out for that, but also statewide we had several volunteers from other career centers. So it was really neat.
Yeah, it's good to see everybody coming together and helping out, because we had less time to plan this than some of the bigger events we do, like the job fair at the DCU Center. Right. Planning's going on now, and that happens in April. This was something that the idea came about. We said, hey, we got to do an event like this. And
luckily the weather was great. So it was just, all around, it was a super event there on the Common. And I know that, a couple other people we should probably be thanking. The lead kind of planning team for this was John McCarthy over at Workforce Central, along with Amy Mosier. And again, several other staff. Wendy Gould also played a big role in planning it out. We had a lot of local partners step up, business partners step up and donate things. Yeah. A few come to mind. I don't want to miss anybody, but I know that Frito-Lay had donated.
Yeah, John and I went up to Frito-Lay, and they said, 800 bags of chips, right? And I don't know if you know what 800 bags of chips look like.
And these weren't the really small bags. These were good size. These were like full. Yep. I want to say like 3-ounce bags. Yeah,
Coca-Cola, expert staffing. I mean, the list goes on.
Polar beverage. Yeah. And then we had Wegmans had given us a nice opportunity there. I'm looking at our
hand signals coming.
There's some hand signals going on. You had 5 bags of chips. Is that Bob Zukowski's?
5 bags of chips or 5 minutes and whatever. 5 bags of chips in 5 minutes.
Is that
Bob's running a tight ship today.
Yeah, I think he's keeping us on task here. We do have an interview coming up, so I think he wants us to make sure we're able to go in. But speaking of interviews, I'm like the master of the segue today.
Yeah, it's
speaking
really
of interviews.
Well, you've been doing this for a couple months now. You've got the flow down.
Well, I also should mention I do practice this a bit at home. So I'll go home and I'll say to my wife, Kim, I'll say, these peas are delicious. And speaking of other things that are delicious, how about that dessert coming up? And so you practice the segues in your everyday life.
Life segues.
Yes, I guess you could say life segues, but you practice them on a daily basis, and you get really good at it. Sir?
How many employees were there?
We had more than 40. See, that wasn't as good of a segue.
That was choppy.
That was a bit choppy.
Well.
So I think we want to work about Mr. Zukowski, our producer extraordinaire. But,
producer extraordinaire, yes.
We did have more than 40 employers there. And we did get a couple of them. Sean had a chance to talk with some. I was kind of busy cooking hot dogs.
Yeah, you were busy on the grill, so I had some time to sit down with a couple of employers. So,
and so are we ready to roll that interview?
We could, if you'd like. We could do that right now.
Well, I think it's about that time. Right?
You could chat a little bit more but it's up to you.
Actually, interesting note.
Before we head to that, yes. Interesting note.
Before we get to that,
when I was doing the interview with one of the employers, this guy walks by. So I'm on camera, I'm live, I'm talking with the.
Is this a Dick Cheney kind of interview moment? I don't know if you know that story.
No. This was a moment, though.
It was a moment. So what happened?
So I'm it's on the Common. Everybody's kind of walking around as I'm doing this interview.
Yeah.
And this guy walks up and he just goes, "Hey man, your fly's undone." Mid-interview. And
it's being videotaped too.
It's being videotaped. So I didn't know whether
Was
my fly
Jessica
actually done.
videotaping?
She was yeah.
Because I would think the natural reaction of the camera person would be to actually
and I don't know
like
if
pan
that's-
down and see.
So we'll have to put that on the blooper reel, and maybe we can discuss
So
that.
and
I think-
and did anyone skip a beat? Did everyone stop the interview?
that was the great part is we just kept going. It's like
I-
it didn't even happen. So I don't know if she panned to the guy like, hey, and,
You
like,
know what
question-
happens if the professional all of a sudden, instead of panning down, right up to the sky.
Up to the sky. Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't want to. We don't want to be encouraging such shenanigans.
No shenanigans.
Well, I was proud of myself for not checking because if somebody says your fly's down, you immediately go to
Of
the.
course, why wouldn't you?
I had the restraint to not. Do
You weren't
that
even
on
wearing
camera.
pants, I believe, at the time. You were like, fly down. How could it be? I'm not even wearing pants.
Joke's on you, man.
Okay, I think we're ready now
I
to
think
go
we're
to the. On that note, so part of this interview.
It might be a
You
little
might-
choppy depending on the editing of it.
Oh,
that's why I wanted to
you're
kinda-
setting this up. If there's a choppy,
Editing segue.
there you go.
We're here now at the Uncommon Job Fair on the Common. It's a beautiful, unseasonably warm day today, and I'm here with Ann from Nouria Energy. Ann, how you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well. So, what do you think of the job fair so far?
I love it. I always go to the Worcester Workforce Central job fairs. Been going to them for like 4 or 5 years, so they're great. Great turnout, great people. Find a lot of people for our company through the job fairs there.
Absolutely. I see a lot of good candidates coming
Yep.
around. I think I snapped some pictures of you earlier, taking some resumes and everything.
Yeah, good, quite a few.
And so, Ann, what does Nouria Energy do?
We actually own and operate 120 gas stations / convenience stores throughout New England.
Okay.
Mostly Shell stations, but we also have Irving and Gulf.
And you guys are a local Worcester company, I
Yes, we're on Clark Street in Worcester. We've been there probably since 2008. We moved to Worcester. We were from Shrewsbury, but we moved to Worcester.
And what kind of positions are you looking for? Looking to hire
We're
for?
looking for actually cashiers, sales associates, assistant managers, and managers for our stations in the local area. We have quite a few in Worcester, Auburn, Shrewsbury, Oxford, Southbridge, kind of in the local area. We also have others in the North Shore, South Shore, and Gardner, but they're all over Massachusetts. But we're looking for some good candidates, some people that want to grow the company. A lot of our managers, our district managers, started off as cashiers and grew to area managers and district managers. So a lot of our office staff actually were cashiers at one point too. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I hear you looking. I heard you say good candidate. So what would make a good candidate? Are there certain skills or backgrounds that are required, or?
we do a lot. I mean, we train our cashiers and our assistant managers and managers. We have a manager training program, but we're looking for outgoing people with good customer service skills that can portray a company, because we really we love customer service. We like to give customer service. We're very quality driven and customer service driven. Our service stations are impeccable inside and out. We try to keep our stations nice and neat. So we all want our employees to treat every customer like you want to be treated. So we're looking for people that are outgoing and then they want to grow with the company.
Well, I hope you find some good people today.
I think we did.
Great, and I appreciate you coming out. It's support from employers like you that
Right.
keeps these things going and get job seekers to come. And hope the idea is to get people back to work. So
Yep.
we appreciate your commitment, Ann.
Always looking for good people. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
I am here now with Karen from A. Schulman. Karen, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
So first, I would like to ask you about what A. Schulman does. Maybe you could
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that.
So A. Schulman, our group is called Custom Compounding New England, and we are a compounder of plastic. So we buy other people's resin, and we use a process called extrusion. So we melt that resin, we add things to it like colorants or additive, and then sell that plastic in a form that looks like a popcorn kernel. So it's called a pellet. We sell it to people like injection molders, and then they make the product. So maybe it's razors or golf balls. We sell to customers who end up in automotive interior trim, electrical components, just all kinds of
So your
things.
stuff is all over
all
the
over
place.
the place, yeah, across all kinds of markets.
Great. And what kind of candidates are you looking for today? What kind of positions do you have
Yeah,
open?
today we are hiring directly for production personnel. So they're very entry level. The requirement is some English skills, math skills, and really we're just looking for people that have a good work ethic. But we're also collecting resumes because we're growing. We're going to need some general office support, so people with Excel skills, Word skills, and then I'm looking for people for customer service. So again, very much Word and Excel kind of skills, as well as very good organizational skills.
So there's a broad range of different positions people
Yeah.
can go for, and
Yeah.
and somebody could come that just has a good work ethic, and you guys are willing to train them and kind of get them going.
Yep. I've had some young people come by today that are just graduating, and I love the idea of hiring somebody that just finished at Clark University with a degree in accounting, because I think that they bring a certain openness to the way of approaching something. Right.
Yeah.
Instead of, I don't want to tell somebody how to do their job. I'd rather try to tell them what needs to get done and let them find a successful conclusion for that. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And what do you think of the event today?
Oh, I've been pleasantly surprised, really. We weren't really sure what to expect. We've never done this before. We didn't bring enough business cards. We've given them all out.
Yeah, we had a huge
We have
crowd.
a whole stack of resumes, and we've given out cards for people to go on our website and apply online. So we were just sitting there. I was talking with the HR administrator, and we were saying how really happy we are that we came today.
And how were the hot dogs? A little overcooked?
I'm a vegetarian.
Oh,
I didn't
all
have a hot dog, but my colleague did, so she liked them.
Well, thank you so much for taking some time
Yes.
to talk to us.
My pleasure.
And good luck finding.
Thanks for setting up a good operation.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Another nice job interviewing, Sean.
Oh, thank you. And I just wanted to kind of highlight too that was both companies were, they weren't looking for specific previous skills. Both of them were willing to take somebody that had a good work ethic or a good, just good personal skills, communication skills, and willing to work with them and train them. So I thought that was pretty cool that both of them were stressing that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's one of the things, too, that people have less and less chance to actually practice on a day-to-day, level. So, when, because, the job market now, job search process does include, it goes towards, online and all that. So less chance to really kind of mingle, if you will, and to practice some of those networking skills. That's why, building rapport. So that's why it's great for folks to go out to networking events. Speaking of networking.
Wow, these are seamless today.
Seamless.
We hope.
So speaking of that, we do have a couple of guests joining us live via phone by conference. This, I think, is the first ever Working Lunch conference call. We have two guests joining us, and we're going to be talking about an upcoming event.
Special
here.
day. Very
special day. Yeah, it's Manufacturing Day on October 4th, and I believe that's actually an international designation. But we do have joining us now. Bob, do we want to link them in?
I think they're all set. Let's
we
find
have
out.
Lisa Oden from the Massachusetts Manufacturing Extension Partnership, where she's a project manager there, and we have Kathy Rentsch, who's the dean for the School of Business, Engineering, and Technology at Quinsigamond Community College. Lisa and Kathy, are you there?
Yes, we are.
Wow.
Well, look at this technology, and I have to thank our producer Bob Zukowski for figuring this one out.
Yeah, well done, Bob.
So October 4th is Manufacturing Day. Lisa, can you tell us a little bit about what the day's meant to do, or why there's a need for Manufacturing Day?
Well, manufacturing is such an important part of the national economy and the state economy and the Worcester economy. And so the idea was to highlight the important role that manufacturing has, and also to bring people up to speed of what today's manufacturing is. Because, we have the saying about, it's not your father's manufacturing anymore. And with advanced manufacturing, which there's such a high percentage of in Massachusetts, it really is not that, what people think of as dirty, dark, and dangerous anymore. There's some pretty high-tech equipment involved now.
Right.
The skill sets are somewhat different than they used to be. And so I think it's to try to help people who are interested in manufacturing, or people who just don't even know about manufacturing, get a little bit of a renaissance in their mind, if you will, about what manufacturing really is.
So an opportunity to kind of spotlight this industry and what the opportunities are. And I know you'd mentioned about the ramping up of the skills necessary. And Kathy, I guess that's where you and programs like yours at Quinsigamond Community College come in. What's some of the programs that the college offers, and I know Mass MEP also does training as well. What's some of the skills that folks can get here or need for the? I guess that would be the way to ask it. What's some of the skills that people need today to get into manufacturing?
Right. Well, Jeff, when we talk about manufacturing, we're really talking about both ends of the spectrum, from the research and design, the engineering aspects, to the manufacture and the production. Mm-hmm. When people hear the word manufacturing, they only think of production. But honestly, you can't manufacture something that hasn't been designed, right? So at QCC, we offer programs that we feel support manufacturing across that continuum, from engineering to our manufacturing technology and our electromechanical programs, which are very focused on production or on the installation, maintenance of automated equipment, which is key in an advanced manufacturing facility. So the kinds of skills that employers typically talk about range from very simple and kind of discrete skills in CAD, CNC operation, ability to understand and read blueprints, do basic measurements, understand basic concepts of geometry and dimensioning and that kind of thing. But
so again, skills though that maybe weren't as necessary, 30, 40 years ago in manufacturing, a bit more kind of hand work, but less kind of intellectual kind of work involved in the process.
Right. In the former days, I think especially people who grew up here in Worcester can have memories of, the shift changes at a place like Heald
Mm-hmm.
Machine or Norton Company, when people would be going in and out of those facilities in tens of hundreds at a time. And they were really involved in kind of repetitive manufacturing processes because we were manufacturing on a large scale in those facilities.
Right.
Now we manufacture in a much smaller scale, more high-end scale, and the kind of technicians that we need today have to have some real understanding of basic computer operations, computer programming, ability to work with statistics, understand and interpret them, to understand quality aspects of production, that kind of thing. So the skills are very sophisticated and different. And that's why the kinds of training that the Mass MEP offers and then the educational programs that QCC offers are so important to help people really build a career.
And both your organizations actually have a great linkage agreement between the two, so that folks can take some classes through the Mass MEP and then apply and get credit for it for programs over at QCC if they want to go on to an associate's level.
That's right.
And then I believe it's also articulated out through a bachelor's through WPI.
The engineering program is actually a bachelor's through WPI, but in our manufacturing program, we actually have the 4-year degree agreement with Fitchburg State because they have an industrial technology program, very specific industrial technology program.
So one of the things that I know employers are reporting to us is that, you've got a wave of people with a lot of industry, been working 40, 50 years, and they're aging out of the workplace. They're getting ready to retire, they're getting ready to leave full-time employment, and this idea of there being a real gap there. There's no ready replacements with the training and skills needed to come in, and so that's where these training programs become so vital, is to help do that. And I think in part of the manufacturing day is to help make sure that people are aware of the opportunities in manufacturing, and then what programs are kind of out there that might be able to help them.
That's right. In fact, a big piece of Manufacturing Day is encouraging manufacturing employers to open their doors and invite community groups, students, parents, in to see what they're doing. When you drive around anywhere in Worcester or in the Central Mass region, we're going by lots of brick buildings, lots of small places, which actually house some really interesting high-tech manufacturing. But if you don't get inside to see it, you don't really understand what it's all about.
And Lisa, I know that your organization, the Mass MEP, works very closely with manufacturers, and that you do get a chance to see some of the exciting manufacturers out there. can you maybe give us a flavor for some of the employers that are out there doing some neat stuff that people might be interested in learning more about?
I was going to say I have a lot of great statistics for you. I can't think of specific employees. I mean, I think that the work that all the manufacturers that are doing the advanced manufacturing is really cool. They do such different things, value-added pieces,
right,
and very precise pieces. So
can you give us a flavor though of what a typical kind of manufacturing setup might look like? Here in Central Mass. You
mean a company?
Yeah. If you walk in, what do people maybe? What would they see if they walk into a facility? Some typical kinds of manufacturing facilities.
I was going to say, and actually, one of the companies that's a great example of being able to kind of see directly onto the shop floor is Tegra. You walk into their entryway, and you can see their production floor because they have it behind glass walls, and it is absolutely, and they're medical devices, so it's absolutely fascinating to see the equipment that's back there, the CNC machinery, and CNC means computer numerically controlled. I know people don't often know what that term means. So the workers are standing behind these great big machines, and it's the machines that are making the part, and it's the computer module that operator interfaces with. But the cleanliness of those shops is astounding, and they're light, big open rooms with the equipment in it, and you can see the parts that they're making while they're doing that. But I want to just backtrack really quickly when you were talking about the opportunity in manufacturing, that the predicted job openings by 2022, 9 years down the road from now, is like 115,000 people for Massachusetts.
Wow. So that's a lot of jobs that'll be opening up. And I know the average wage in the industry is exceeds $70,000.
Right. And it's higher for manufacturing than it is for the average income. And one of the things that people also don't understand about manufacturing and the important role that it really has in the central Massachusetts area specifically is, Worcester ranks 15th nationwide for manufacturing as part of their economy, okay, nationwide. So, and that's like compared to Springfield, which ranks 38th, and Boston, which ranks 54th, okay?
So there you go.
So, that's right. Yeah, so that just shows some of the importance of manufacturing. But
well, and I know, historically too, I mean, Worcester has been, a real hub for manufacturing. And so if you look at the, in terms of what it's meant to our economy historically, and it still does, it really speaks to that need for us to maintain a strong workforce, which gets back to the need to make sure people are aware of the opportunities, especially parents and young people, which gets us back to this attempt nationally and indeed internationally to put a spotlight on manufacturing through Manufacturing Day, which is October 4th. And again, we're speaking with Lisa Oden from the Massachusetts Manufacturing Extension Partnership and Kathy Rentsch from Quinsigamond Community College. So tell us about some of the stuff that's lined up for Manufacturing Day on October 4th. What's some of the activities that I know, Kathy, you have some stuff going on campus?
Yeah, we do. Actually, we're very excited about celebrating Manufacturing Day here this year. We have got a full day of activities on October 4th, starting with a screening of a new documentary called The American-Made Movie, which is a documentary that is celebrating innovation, invention, and manufacturing, frankly. This documentary is really has been produced by a group of people who are committed to helping all Americans understand the importance of manufacturing and keeping it local and the importance of that on our national and local economies. So they have screened the movie around the country. There was a very small screening of it in Boston in July. We were lucky enough to get a licensing agreement in place on October 4th, And we'll be showing it here on campus, both to our students and faculty, and we've also invited many of our partners from local vocational technical high schools and comprehensive high schools that have technical programs to come bring their students to view the film. And what I like about this film, I've had quite a bit of time to talk to one of the guys who's been working with the producers. They are very upbeat and excited about manufacturing, and this is the goal of this documentary, is to get everybody feeling that way. So
well, I've seen the trailer, and folks can see the trailer online if they Google the American Made Movie.
.com. That's right.
.com. There you go. So that's happening on campus, and I know we're also we're partnering up together with both your organizations to help promote Manufacturing Day, and again having manufacturers open their doors for open houses that day and help connect people with getting tours and talking to manufacturers about the products that they do. I'm always amazed here locally at some of the things that come out of manufacturers here in Central Massachusetts that they go throughout the world, and some real product leaders are made right here in Central Massachusetts.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And what people forget is that all the component parts and anything that we buy are manufactured somewhere. For example, Swiss Turn down in Oxford is a screw machine job shop. They manufacture screws that fit into medical devices and all kinds of other, consumer kinds of equipment that any one of us might buy, but we don't think about the fact that all those things are manufactured somewhere.
Now, Lisa, one of the common perceptions out there is that manufacturing's dying and all the jobs are going overseas, and I'm sure you get that a lot, especially as you talk to maybe parents or people looking at the career options. Can you speak to how what the messaging is around that, or how you counter that perception?
Well, again, it's one of if people really look at it, manufacturing actually led Massachusetts out of the economic downturn that we had there. And although the shape and face of what manufacturing was in the past has changed, there is plenty of room for opportunity. All you need to do is, take a look at the ads, the want ads, and you will see plenty of, we work most specifically with CNC operators and that kind of thing. And, you talk to the manufacturers themselves, and they're saying, we can't find the people that we need. And so what the picture might look like, in a large scale can be very different within your own region and within your state. And so there is plenty of opportunity, and there's always going to be a niche and a need. I was just at a conference at MIT on Friday, and one of the things they were talking about how, it had been perceived that the country was going to move towards, service industries, and but now, everybody's realizing how much manufacturing is really needed. And the quote of one of the guys that I love so much was, 5,000 haircuts isn't as good as a Chevy.
Yeah.
And so that making of parts, and so that whole, the president is such a large supporter of manufacturing. So there is a big push back in this direction, and we need manufacturing here. So it does not have a bleak outlook at all. I want to just jump back for a second, if I could. I know Kathy mentioned Swiss Turn. They are participating in the Manufacturing Day. I was speaking with them yesterday, and they're having an open house there. They've just expanded and opened a new facility, and so they are actually one of the most modern Swiss screw machine job shops in the United States. And if people want to go visit them, their open house will be from 1 to 3 p.m. down in Oxford. So there's a good chance for people to jump in somewhere and see something.
Well, again, October 4th, a great opportunity to highlight the benefits and the role of manufacturing in our local area. And for folks that want to get more information, certainly they can check on our website, the www.cmwib.org. And they can also, Kathy, there's some information available as far as the movie that's out there in the local screening?
Probably the best thing to do is for people to contact me directly, and I'll give you my phone number. So again, it's Kathy Rentsch, and my number at the college is 508-854-2712.
So 854-2712. And also, folks online can get in touch with Mass MEP and find out about some of the great work that they're doing. Now, before I let you two go, we do have a tradition here of playing a little game with our guests, just to kind of test your general knowledge, if you will. But we did gear this towards manufacturing. This is a very manufacturing focused segment here. So what we're going to do, here's a little game, and there's a little prize attached to it. What we're going to do is we're going to give you 3 products, and one of them is real. The other 2 are fictitious. But then this comes from the category of worst product ideas ever. Okay.
All right.
And these are products so one of these is actually a product that was made. Okay.
Can they work as a team to come up with one
We
answer?
want you to work as a team. Yes, it's a team building
One guess.
exercise.
Okay.
Okay. So here we go.
Excellent.
First choice is the automatic eyeglass wipers. So these are tiny windshield-like wiper devices that would sweep away rain, fog, and condensation from your eyeglasses, automated through tiny motors, and it clips onto any standard U.S. pair of eyeglasses. So there you go. So that's the automatic eyeglass wipers. Next one is called the Hawaiian workout chair. And this is a chair that has a motor-driven swivel seat that allows you to work out without all the work. And it's suitable for home or office. So that's your second choice. The third one is the grill head. So this is a hood with a built-in grill that uses passive solar refracted heat to cook up to 4 hot dogs at a time. And apparently there's an optional bun steamer backpack that can come with it. So there's your 3. You've got the grill head. It's a hood with a built-in solar-powered grill. You have the Hawaiian workout swivel chair, allowing you to work without all the hassle of working out. And then you have the eyeglass windshield wipers. So I don't know. Ding, ding, ding.
What do you think, Kathy?
I think. So we're picking the product that was never manufactured.
No, you want to pick the one that was actually made.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the
that's
one that was
easier.
actually made.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I thought the same thing you did, Kathy.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you
I
clarified
think it's
that.
number 3, Lisa. That's what I'm
I want all
think
3
that
of
was
them.
actually
Either way,
made?
I'm
Yeah,
going to buy all 3 of them.
All 3 should be available. I think we agree on that. But
I know.
which one was
I think
actually?
the one that was actually made was number 2.
And that
All
one
right.
is?
So so you guys going to come up with one
We have
guess?
to come up with one.
Teamwork here, too.
Teamwork.
I'll go with 2, because that would be a great invention. I would welcome that in my home.
Okay. Well, and which one was that? So that was the workout
That was the
chair.
Hawaiian workout.
All right. Well, let's
So
see if you guys have won a prize. Sean is going to play a clip from that we found online about this product.
All right,
Let's
here we
see.
go.
I think you're going to be able to hear it.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing.
That feels great on my abs.
I can really feel this working.
Hawaiian chair while answering phones, using the computer, balancing books, or filing paperwork.
You can hardly call this work. With the Hawaii chair, it takes the work out of your workday.
If you can sit, you can get fit. The Hawaii chair.
So there you go. If you can sit, you can get fit. The Hawaii chair, available online or through. And someone had to make it, right? So there you go. You can help maybe get into manufacturing and make your own Hawaii chair.
You know why I thought it was that one? Because as some of you know, I have horses and that kind of thing, and I have actually seen like little machines that simulate horseback riding without a horse that you can use in your office.
Would that be like
I was
a mechanical
it's gotta be that
bull?
workout
Yeah,
chair.
down at Gillies.
Are you
too.
saying down at
Gillies?
Yeah, the Salty Dog here in Worcester has a mechanical bull. Is that what
They
you're,
do.
Lisa? You're
Well, I've
That's
seen
subject
those
for another
before, too.
show.
yes, that'll be for the next for agricultural showcase show. Well, again, I want to thank you both for coming on and talking about Manufacturing Day. This is we've had a great interview with Lisa Oden from the Mass MEP and Kathy Rentsch from Quinsigamond Community College. So thanks again for being on the show.
Thanks,
Have a good one. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so we're going to transition now back into to other matters. And boy, it's great to talk to them. I know that's a unique linkage that they both have too. So people going through the Mass MEP training program can actually start to earn credits for an associate's degree at Quinsigamond Community College. Great opportunity for people to get that, and certainly people can get more information about that by contacting us at the Workforce Board, Central Mass Workforce Investment Board. Sean, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm thinking maybe next show we can highlight how to get a product patent, so we can get the hot dog hoodie and the.
That's right.
The windshield wipers going.
The hot dog hoodie. You know what? I should have consulted you for the actual naming of the product. So I did want to go over a couple of things here before we get into our next segment. We have a segment on mail time here coming up.
Yeah,
right?
we got a mail segment. Yeah.
Bob, how are we doing on time on your end?
Oh, we have about 19 minutes left.
Okay, so. Are we ready? Why don't we go ahead and go into to our mail segment?
Okay.
And do that. I think I actually have the theme here in my handy dandy device here. Let's see. We actually have a theme song now.
That sounds familiar to me.
Well, maybe you've been watching a bit of children's television.
Maybe.
I think it's an appropriate segment intro. It's kind of kind of in the business speak. Segment intro is what we call it.
Gotcha.
It helps introduce the segment.
We've got a letter from Marty from Milford. Going with the alliteration
I like
there,
that.
I guess, yeah.
I'm going to guess that's not his real name.
Fake. Well, some people give fake
some
names,
people,
like
they don't
last
want to,
month.
you don't want to have their name, some of the writers. Some of the authors of these emails.
So this could be fictitious Marty from Milford.
But that's
so.
okay.
Marty writes, I have a couple of interviews coming up that I feel confident about, but I was wondering if you have some advice for interview follow-up. So I'm guessing he's talking about what to do after an interview.
Sure.
So I
Sure.
talked to some of the folks upstairs. Again, they've got great help at Workforce Central. Career centers, all three. There's one in Worcester, Milford, and Southbridge.
Mm-hmm.
And they have job developers there who can give you this kind of advice. But to answer Marty's question, during an interview, during your interview, you always want to ask about the next steps. So they'll kind of outline what they want to do for the next steps. We'll contact you in a week or so. We'll send a follow-up
Should be hearing from us.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to define what's going to happen next. What are the next steps? Another good practice to do, kind of go the extra mile, is to ask whoever you're interviewing with if you can have a business card. So that way you can get their address or email, and what you can do is follow up with a thank you note. A handwritten thank you note kind of goes a long way. It's also an opportunity for you, if there was something that threw you for a loop in the interview and you didn't have an answer for that question, you could answer that question in the interview. I remember you asked me this. I didn't really have an answer, but here's, or you could also.
Or hey, as a follow up, I just wanted to mention.
Exactly.
I did have an opportunity to think it through, and I do have, some experience working with this that I think would be appropriate for this type of situation or whatever. Sure. So it's an opportunity to kind of resell yourself.
Exactly.
And maybe fill in any gaps that presented
gaps.
themselves in the interview.
Again, highlight yourself. This is why I'd be good for this fit. This was a nice interview. Just really kind of give it that personal touch, and I think that goes a long way and can separate you from some of the other job seekers. So, Marty, there's some tips for you for after those interviews. Good luck. We wish you the best.
Yes, and I know in today's day and age, there's certainly any little bit that can help sell you that much more to a potential employer is that edge. That might be the difference between getting a call saying you've been accepted for the job or in a job offer or not. So.
And it's also important to define those next steps, so you're not being an annoyance to the employer by calling them when they're thinking about getting back to you.
And that's always it's good to know that, to have it kind of that
Yeah, you don't want to be
timeline there.
annoying, and you don't want to hurt your chances of landing that job?
Well, I know that you're a communications person at the Workforce Board, and there's a lot that has changed in that world, including the rise of social media and the rise of online profiles and whatnot. And one of the biggest sites is really LinkedIn.
Yeah,
is a very big site that a lot of people use to get the word out about who they are and what they're doing. And so for job seekers especially,
big networking site.
It's a great networking
tool. So you
tool.
could see, okay, I'm friends with Jeff, and he works at the Central Mass Workforce Investment Board, and Jeff may have a contact at Mass MEP.
I have 4 friends on LinkedIn. I'm pretty proud that I've got. I added a 4th. No, I know what you're saying. It is an opportunity to kind of see whose friends. Whose contacts you have that might have connections that can help you, moving forward. I did want to also, mention it's an opportunity though for you to communicate to potential employers and to others who you are, and so in today's parlance, if you will, it's called personal branding.
Yes. Okay.
Which someone had told me. If someone told me, oh, you need to get a personal brand, I'd be like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it sounds like a college thing.
Turgeon Co.
No, I'm thinking like, sounds like a college thing. I don't know. I don't want to get burned. Get heat up.
I see where you're going with it.
Yeah. I've got a friend that got, as part of a fraternity thing, they'd brand each other. Oof. But that's a totally different.
Different road.
You need a personal brand. Yeah. Lay on it. So the sizzle, the sizzle. You know what I'm talking about?
They
he
don't
said the worst
this.
part was the smell of the burning flesh. But this is a totally different different type of branding.
They don't
personal
do branding at the Career Center.
Just to be clear. Just to be clear, you cannot get branded at the Career Center, but we can help you develop a good personal brand. And so. A few tips or a few things that go a long way, including with LinkedIn, is there's several opportunities on LinkedIn to align your message and really kind of make sure that you're putting forth more or less a unified story about yourself. So you might have had several different work experiences. You might be involved with several different organizations in several different roles.
Okay.
But underlying all of them might be a passion for team building, a passion for bringing people together to move forward organizational, a passion for working with new business development, or a passion for sales, or that skill that you're passionate about. And so you want to make sure that kind of weaves its way through the various your work history. Also in the summary section, that's another opportunity to kind of highlight that is a skill and a passion that you bring to whatever you're working on. And so it's an opportunity again. And some other tips might be to have a professional looking photo on there.
So you don't want to have your shirt off
right. I know when you had first joined LinkedIn, you weren't too familiar with it, and there you are.
Yep.
I don't know if you're on the French Riviera or whatever, but you're sitting there on the beach and you're no shirt on, and you're holding a beverage in your hand. That's probably not your. Well, I guess that could be your personal brand.
My personal brand was I like to party.
That's right. If you're
which wasn't working for.
It depends on the field you're going into, right?
That's right.
Certainly, if you're trying to get into the party industry, that might be the way to go.
Right.
But for a normal business, you really want to get something, and it might be worth one way. If you don't want to hire or go to professional photographer, you might have a friend who's got a really good camera and good skills, and then make sure you crop it. You have a decent background. Something probably a little bit blander is better for the background. But I have seen some pretty bad examples out there of LinkedIn profile pictures.
Yeah,
I'm sure you can relate.
And actually, I'm struggling finding one for myself. Mine doesn't have a picture right now, and I really need to add something.
You should add a picture.
Yeah, I know. That's what all the job developers upstairs say, is that for a profile like that, you really need to have a picture. You need to have a face on there.
And I know that
right now I'm the silhouette, which isn't working for me. So.
Yeah, and you just lump it in with everybody, all those other silhouettes that are out there.
This is helpful.
You can't even customize the silhouette. They should, if you could
Take the hair off or something.
Put the grill hoodie picture on there.
Hot dog hoodie.
The hot dog hoodie. So you want to do that. You want to, again, have a unified message, and every section is an opportunity to really work through that message about what you are and what you're passionate about. Also, I've seen some people come up with their own kind of like tagline, and they get a bit creative with that, so they'll be like, they'll say like, like an example might be they'd say like dedicated, organizational change agent, or
cool.
dynamic, you try to make, sell yourself kind of in a really short, pithy kind of way.
That's a good place to start, because then you can kind of define, okay, what am I really passionate about, or what am I really
crystallize
trying to sell
that
about
essence.
myself?
Yeah, exactly. I
have a question.
Sure.
For those that have the silhouette, they probably have Facebook, pictures on Facebook. Should they use their pictures from Facebook?
Well, again, I think if it's a professional looking picture, if it goes to that brand. So if you're branding yourself as the hardiest partier going, no, and certainly we're joking about that, but for like a DJ,
yep,
right, it might be wholly appropriate to have a little bit more fun type of picture. If you're if you're involved with the an event planner that skews towards like planning like younger events, you might want to have something that kind of indicates something like that. So again, it really just does depend on the picture that you have available to you, whether it's on Facebook or just something that you took at a family barbecue or whatever. But I have seen some people just use some photos, and I'm thinking, that
gives a wrong message, or it gives a different brand.
Yeah, or even just looks unprofessional. You know what I mean? If you've got like this picture that you can't really maybe make out, or it's like it's grainy old, it's like taken from 300 yards away. It just seems that there's some room there for improvement for some people. So, and the other advice is go ahead and create a draft of it, and have a few friends that you think have a good eye for this type of thing. Check it out and see what they think.
Always good to have another set of eyes. There's things that you would overlook, or you don't realize that you're putting yourself out there that way, and somebody else can say, hey, this
goes without saying to spell check it.
Absolutely.
And certainly if folks check out my LinkedIn profile, it's not the perfect example. I haven't quite branded myself yet, but I'm meaning to get to it. So, and one way that you can help kind of find that message that you want to send about is talk to others about what do you see as strengths.
Well, how do I come across? Or?
Yeah, what do you? Well, that's a loaded question. That's a loaded question for me to ask, but no, but find out like what are the strengths that you think and get a sense from people what they see as your core strengths, and then develop that core message that you're gonna be promoting, and then utilize that on your LinkedIn profile and elsewhere.
I got a really smooth segue here. Speaking of LinkedIn, the Career Center offers a lot of workshops on LinkedIn,
and helps you to get LinkedIn as a job seeker.
So I'd like to highlight a couple of workshops that the Career Center has coming up for October.
That'd be great.
One of them is Intro to LinkedIn, and that's on Thursday, October 24th, 1:30 to 3:30. And that's with Bob DiPietro and Cheryl Kelly.
Is that up at the Worcester Career Center?
Yeah, these are all for the Worcester Career Center. I have the calendar for the Worcester Career Center.
And certainly people can go online and check out the calendars for the Southbridge and Milford or other career centers throughout the state. But we're pretty proud of the 3 that we have here in Central Mass. But yeah, please go on. What's some of the other workshops that are happening that folks might be interested in October?
A good start is every Tuesday. There's resume writing 1 and 2, so people can kind of get the basics of resume writing, come up with a draft, and then finalize it with resume writing.
And it should be noted, while the resume itself may be in some ways being phased out by the online profiles or whatever, a lot of the information that would be on a resume is something you'd want to create and then utilize in different platforms like LinkedIn or whatever. So it's stuff you could kind of cut and paste.
And that's what these workshops help, is to help you pull out the information and turn it into something that's work history.
Great.
Another one I thought was important to note was career pathways in manufacturing, because we're talking about Manufacturing Day coming up on the 4th, and on the 2nd, there's that career pathways in manufacturing.
It should be mentioned, too, that we do have some opportunities for funding to be available for training in in-demand fields, including manufacturing. So, and there's a couple different programs out there that folks could tap into for training resources. So that would be one way of getting some information about that. It would be to attend that, especially if you're interested in perhaps a manufacturing career.
Yep, and all these workshops I've mentioned are free of charge. You just have to be a Workforce Central member. So you go to Workforce Central, you go through a seminar which talks about all the different
an orientation,
services.
basically.
Yeah, an orientation, and then they
and
sign
that's
you
no
up.
and that's no cost.
No
so
cost
no
there
cost to become
either.
a member, and then once you're a member, you get certain you get these benefits.
Yep.
At no cost. So that's great. Well, I should also mention as we're kind of winding down another hour, another month.
They go quick, don't
Boy,
they?
don't they?
Yeah.
So one big change that's happening at the Career Centers is our director of the Career Centers, Don Anderson, is retiring at the end of this month. 30 years.
30 years.
Service. And you know, very young.
Yeah.
Energetic leader.
Surprising 30.
Surprising 30, yeah. And so he is retiring, so we want to congratulate him and wish him the best of luck moving forward. He's had some pretty major accomplishments, and he's going to stay on after retirement with us at the Career Center. He's going to be staying on with some projects he's been doing with the state.
Oh, so still stay connected with us.
Still staying connected. He is a recognized leader in the Career Center network and in workforce development in general. And has certainly been a huge help for me in the work we do at the board. And when I first came on, really helped me learn and understand some of the nuances, especially about our local system.
Yeah.
And, has been a real steadfast, not only, adhering to all the compliance issues around that, but also, someone who's interested in continuous improvement and always looking for some better ways of doing things at the Career Center. So again, we want to wish him the best of luck moving forward. We should also thank our guests. We had Lisa Oden, and we had Kathy Rentsch come on the show. Lisa from Mass MEP, Kathy from QCC, and we also had the interviews from our Uncommon Job Fair.
Uncommon Job Fair, yeah.
So again, we want people to remember October 4th is Manufacturing Day. Please try to get some information about that. You can find that online. And with that, I guess I hear the music coming up in the background. Mr. Zukowski, anything to add? Any final?
And we'll be back in October on the 4th Wednesday of the month.
That show is actually going to be Oktoberfest show. And
with a K or a C?
Two Ks and a C.
As all the programs are festival.
Oktoberfest.
Festive.
We're just piling it on there. Sean will be wearing lederhosen. But other than that, nothing to do with the other Oktoberfest. Thank you all. Have a great month. Talk to you soon.
No place to go. What we all reap is what we sow. Lost my house. Didn't take this job and shove it. I ain't